Assyrian archers pursuing enemies is a very interesting piece. It is clearly propaganda, and it was likely public art. In other words, it was publicly on display so that people could see the victories of their rulers. Nothing that we haven't seen before, but I want to point out that public art can be propaganda in the ancient world as well as today. And what we're seeing is one piece of a larger relief carved into the mud brick walls of the palace. And it's commemorating an event from about 878 BCE when the king drove his enemy into the Euphrates River. Now, what's intriguing about this is that we see multiple viewpoints occurring at once. It's as if we're seeing it from the side and the top. So, for example, when we look at the figures, these are clearly in profile. Arguably, maybe composite view. We do have a front chest view here, but others not so much. Whereas the water is seen from on top. So you see the swirls, for example, of the river and the waves as it goes back. Of course, water doesn't look that interesting from the side. And these mixed perspectives, this is something that we would avoid today, but to them would have been very common because, of course, you want relatability, you want communication. If it's propaganda, you need to communicate your message. And to communicate, sometimes you need to sacrifice accuracy. By the way, if you're wondering what's going on here, they're holding a pig bladder, well, a pig skin or a skin, animal skin, as a flotation device. The ancient world wasn't famous for swimming, and rivers would have been seen as basically a death sentence. So you're going to see them using that sort of flotation device to get them through the situation. The forms are not entirely proportionate. So as we look at the overall piece, you'll notice that the archers running across the river or swimming across the river, and the Assyrian enemies are about the same size. But they're the most important thing to the story in this case. He's sacrificing pure hierarchy of scale to get across a narrative. We're supposed to focus on the Assyrian archers and the enemy troops swimming across the river, rather than focusing on the enemy's castle, which appears to be where they're headed, given direction and everything else.